गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोकिर्भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are welcome for continuity of our Bhakti vaibhava study of third canto Srimada Bhagvatam. Today we are starting chapter 17, Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the direction of the universe, the birth of the two demons. Chakravarti summarized the chapter. In the 17th chapter, at the birth of the two demons, many ill omens appeared. This is the first section. Second section, Hiranyaksha conquering everywhere mocked Varuna. That is the end of the chapter. So the first 15 verses 1 to 15, inauspicious omen after the birth of the twin brothers. So these are the first 15 verses. Maitriya Vacha Nishmayatma bhova gitam karanam sankhya ujitaha tatah sarve nyavartanta trai devyaya devokasa. Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of higher planets, Trai Devyaya, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of darkness, Nishmaya Bhuvagitam Karanam Sankhya Ujitaha, explained by Brahma, Bhuva, who was born from Vishnu. Thus they all returned to their respective planets. So Srila Prabhupada's purport is, the demigods who are denizens of higher planets are also very much afraid of incidents such as universe becoming dark, and so they consulted Brahma. This indicates that the quality of fear exists for every living entity in the material world. The four principal activities of materialistic existence are eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. The fear element exists also in the demigods. On every planet, even in the higher planetary systems, including moon and sun, as well as on this earth, the same principle of animal life exists. Otherwise, why are the demigods also afraid of the darkness? The difference between the demigod and ordinary human being is that demigod approach authority, whereas inhabitants of the earth defy authority. So in this whole chapter, and in this coming two chapters, you should make a sort of comparison between the demigods and normal human beings, or you can say Dev Asura, demigods and demonic nature. But throughout the different purports, again and again you will come across this difference between the divine and demonic people. So this is the first instance here. Srila Prabhupada says, Devotees, when they have trouble, they go to the authority and follow the authority. Demigod went to the Brahma. While the ordinary living entities on this earth, they defy the authority. They don't accept authority. Prabhupada is again giving the second example. If people would only approach the authority, then every adverse condition in this universe could be rectified. So what is that authority the human being should go to? Authority of the scripture. Actually, scripture is authority, and the representative of Supreme Lord is the authority. So who is the authority we should refer to? Scripture and spiritual master. They both are authority. Arjuna also disturbed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, another example. But he approached the authority, Krishna, and his problem was solved. So we have to approach representative of Krishna or scripture as the authority for our guidance. The conclusive instruction of this incident is that we may be disturbed by some material condition, but if we approach the authority who can actually explain the matter, then our problem is solved. The demigods approached Brahma for the meaning of the disturbance, and after hearing from him, they were satisfied and returned home peacefully. So what is authority? You should be very clear in our mind. We should be clear what is authority. Authority is scripture, bona fide scripture and bona fide representative of Supreme Lord. They both are of authority. We have to follow. The most authoritative scripture. Srila Prabhupada was in some foreign country. The Christians have nice churches. Mostly they were pious. So they asked, why you have come, Prabhupada, here? Prabhupada, you all are good people, nice. You are following religious principle. He said, that's all right, but why you have come? Prabhupada, I have come to give you the message of most authoritative scripture spoken by Supreme Lord himself. So, Srila Prabhupada considered Bhagavad Gita as the authority, most authoritative scripture. And then Prabhupada is giving example of Arjuna. He approached Krishna and Krishna gave him Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada said, I have established Krishna conscious movement, and that is based on Bhagavad Gita as it is. So for us, the authority is bona fide scripture, and Bhagavad Gita is that bona fide scripture, the sense of all Vedic literature. So this is the authority. We should approach authority. Now verse number 2. Ditisto bharato adeshat apatyaha parisankine purne varshashate sadvi putraho prasushvaye yamo. The virtuous lady Sadhvi, Sati's Sadhvi, virtuous lady Sadhvi, Diti, had been very apprehensive of trouble to the gods from the children in her womb, and her husband predicted the same. She brought forth twin sons after a full 100 years of pregnancy. So why Diti is called Sadhvi? Because she postponed the suffering of the demigods for at least 100 years. Because her husband Bhartru means husband. Because Kashyap told me that your son will be creating trouble for the saintly people and demigods and Brahmins. So she is addressed here Sadhvi because she kept the pregnancy for 100 years. The information given by Kashyap was that the sons would make the world lament. She was worried that her sons would cause problem to the universe, or she was worried that they would be killed by Vishnu. Somehow she kept pregnancy for long duration of time. Verse number 3. The birth of the two demons. On the birth of the two demons, there were many natural disturbances, all very fearful and wonderful. In the heavenly planet, earthly planet, and in between, Antraksh. Utpat bhavas tatra. Utpat means natural disturbances. Nepitur jayamanaha. Divi bhuvi antraksha. Divi means the heavenly planet. Bhuvi means on earth. Antraksha means in between the two. Now here we have the list. These verses from verse number 4 till verse number 14. There is a list of the disturbances that occurred in the universe. So we will read the verses, but this chart will give the information from 4 to 40 disturbances. What are the disturbances? Verse number 4. Various natural disaster after the demon's birth. So the first disturbance is there were earthquakes along the mountain on the earth, and it appeared that there was fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared along with comets, meteors, and thunderbolts. So this is the verse 4. Srila Prabhupada writes, when a natural disturbance occurs on the planet, one should understand that demon must have taken birth there. Or else, the other reason Prabhupada will give again, any disturbance in the material world, this represents either the demon is going to appear or the demonic population is increasing. Two reasons only.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, what happens when a devotee is born at a place? I mean, do they have something like nice things?
Auspicious omens will be there also, yes. If there's some great personalities come, there will be auspicious things also. There's no list I have not seen, but there must be.
And Prabhuji, sometimes these holy places like Kedarnath also see this kind of natural disaster like flooding and all these things. So why do these things happen? I mean, because holy place is already has so many devotees there. So why do these things happen there?
They gave the reason that there was a special temple of the Dhari Mata on the way, which they have dismantled from their proper position. So this disaster came, and now they have put their temple in a proper place. There is some reason always behind something which happened as a natural disaster. And generally, the people going in all these holy places, they are not really having their sense control. They use all the things, even wine, smoking, meat and everything on these places. So ultimately there is a reaction to all these places. So they have now registration, but I was suggesting the registration should be that everybody should follow four regulatory principle when they go to the Himalayas. So otherwise the spiritual places, they are polluted by people rather than they are going for purification. Like the son of Kuber in the Ganga, in a Mandakini, they were drunken and was playing with the woman. So even Narad cursed them. They were doing the same thing. So yes, now there are, Prabhupada writes two things. Remember this always. When there are natural disturbances, either some demon is going to take birth, or in the present age, the number of demonic people are increasing. Two things. Therefore, natural disturbances are also increasing. There is no doubt about this, as we can understand from the statement of Bhagavatam. So, verse number 5, what are the disturbances in verse number 5? There blew wind, which were most uninviting to the touch, hissing again and again, uprooting gigantic trees. There is storm of their armies. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their ensigns, which means flag. The harsh wind constantly hissing with dust as their flag, and hurricane as their troops uprooted the trees. So Srila Prabhupada again writes here, when there are natural disturbances like blowing cyclone, too much heat or snowfall, and uprooting of trees by the hurricanes, it is to be understood that the demonic population is increasing, and so the natural disturbance is also taking place. There are many countries on the globe, even at the present moment, where all these disturbances are current. This is true all over the world. There is insufficient sunshine, and there are always clouds in the sky. Snowfall, severe cold. These assure that such places are inhabited by demonic people who are accustomed to all kinds of forbidden, sinful activities. So these are the people which are living in such countries where there are no sunshine, always clouds, snowfall, severe cold. So people are sinful there.
Babaji, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Dhanavad. Babaji, in India also nowadays, in the summer, the hot it's increasing a very high record, and then similarly the cold is also in the same. It is a very extreme cold and extreme heat.
So India is also having so many demonic nature people now increasing. Yes. And yet India is not is an exception. It's not exception. It is also having demonic nature people. The luminaries in the heaven were screened by masses of clouds, in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen. With the complete darkness, no place could be seen in the sky without luminaries visible, caused by the dense cloud with lightning which seemed to laugh loudly. So there are clouds, and there is a darkness, and sometimes there is a lightning, which is given, the analogy is like laughing. Verse number 7, disturbances. The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud if stricken by sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered. The grieving ocean with high waves and agitated inhabitant wailed loudly. The rivers and the well with the withered lotuses were also agitated. Verse number 8. Many hollows appeared around the sun and moon during the solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of the thunder were heard even without clouds, and sounds like those of rattling of the chariots emerged from the mountain caves. verse number 9. In the interior of the villages, the she-jackal yield portentously vomiting strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owl also joined them with their cries. Verse number 10. Raising their neck, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing and now of wailing. Dogs here and there uttered cries sounding like singing and weeping while raising their head up. Gram singer. What is dog called in the verse? Gram simhas. Simha means lion. Lion of the village. That means dogs. Verse number 11. Kharascha kakaraischa chataha. Chata is a address. O Vidur. Chata is Vidur. O Vidur, the asses ran hither and thither in herd, striking the earth with their hard hooves and widely braying. Verse number 12. Frightened by the braying of the asses, birds flew shrieking from their nests, while cattle in the cowshed as well as in the woods passed dung and urine. Verse number 13. Cows, terrified, yielded blood in place of milk. Clouds ran pus. Images of the gods in the temple shed tears, and the trees fell down without a blast of wind. And last, 14th verse. Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones such as Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, as well as number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with one another. Srila Prabhupada writes, the entire universe is moving under the three modes of material nature. Those living entities who are in the goodness are called pious species, pious land, pious trees, etc. It is similar with the planets also. Many planets are considered pious and others are considered impious. Saturn and Mars are considered impious. Shani and Mangal. When the pious planets shine very brightly, it is an auspicious sign. But when the inauspicious planets shine very brightly, this is not a very good sign. Auspicious planets refer to Jupiter, Venus, and others. The cruel planets are Mars, Saturn, and others. Last verse of this section. Marking these and many other omens of the evil times, everyone but the four sages, son of the Brahma, who were aware of the fall of Jay and Vijay and of their birth as Aditi's sons, was seized with fear. They did not know the secret of these portents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand. Srila Prabhupada writes, according to Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, the law of nature are so stringent that it is impossible for the living entity to surpass their enforcement. It is also explained that only those who are fully surrendered to Krishna and Krishna consciousness can be saved. We can learn from this. So according to Bhagavad Gita, which is this verse? Yes. And now also learn from the description of Bhagavatam. There is because of the birth of the two great demons that there were so many natural disturbances. It is to be indirectly understood as previously described that when there are constant disturbance on the earth, that is an omen that some demonic people have been born or that the demonic population has increased. In the former days, there were only two demons. There were only two demons in the former time. Those born of Diti, yet there were so many disturbances at the present day, especially in this age of Kali. These disturbances are always visible, which indicate that the demonic population has certainly increased. To check the increase of the demonic population, the Vedic civilization enacted so many rules and regulations of social life, the most important of which is Garbhadan Sanskar. Garbhadan Sanskar. How to counteract the demonic population increasing? Garbhadana Sanskar. Process for begetting good children. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna informed Krishna that if there is unwanted population, Varna Shankar, the entire world will appear to be hell. People are very anxious for peace in the world, but there are so many unwanted children born without the benefit of Garbhadan ceremony, just like the demons born from Diti. So, Garbhadan Sanskar, Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, Naradhama, who are Naradhama? Prabhupada writes 99% are Naradhama on the planet because they have no Garbhadan Sanskar in Bhagavad Gita. You remember this purport? Naradhama? So Naradhama and the purport Prabhupada, 99% people are Naradhama because they don't follow the Garbhadan Sanskar. And here Prabhupada is having, he's giving us to how to counteract this increase of demonic population by following the Vedic ceremonies for regulation of social life, Garbhadan Sanskar. Diti was so lusty that she forced her husband to copulate at the time which was inauspicious, and therefore demons were born to create disturbance. In having sex life to beget children, one should observe the process for begetting nice children. If each and every householder in every family observe the Vedic system, then there are nice children, no demons, and automatically there is peace in the world. If we do not follow regulation in life for social tranquility, we cannot expect peace. Rather, we will have to undergo the stringent reaction of the natural laws. Now, next section, verse number 16 to 19. The brothers give up. Now, what happened to the Jay and Vijay? Hiranyakash and Hiranyakashipu. The two demons who appeared in ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had steel-like frames which began to grow just like two great mountains. Now, Srila Prabhupada give the purport. There are two classes of men in the world. One is called demon and other is called demigod. The demigod concern themselves with the spiritual upliftment of human society. Here you demigod means, when Srila Prabhupada writes demigod, which means Dev and Asur. These are the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Devo imau purushaloke kshartana devo imau sargau dev asur evacha. There are two types of creation, demonic and divine nature. So those who are divine nature, they are concerned with the upliftment of the spiritual standard in human society. Whereas demonic people concerned with physical and material upliftment. So in the first verse we have two ways. One is demigods people, they approach authority, while the you can say the Asuric people, they defy authority. Now here, divine people, their concern is spiritual upliftment. Demonic people, their concern is material upliftment and physical power. The two demons born of the Diti began to make their bodies as strong as iron frames, and they were so tall that they seemed to touch outer space. They were decorated with valuable ornaments, and they thought that this was success in life. Originally, it was planned that Jay and Vijay, the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, were to take birth in this material world, where, by the curse of the sages, they were to play the part of always being angry with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As demonic persons, they become so angry that they were not concerned with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but simply with physical comfort and physical upliftment. Chakravarti Pad writes, in spite of curse of the Brahmanas, the two devotees of the Lord were still superior. To make this known, this verse shows that they did not have the trace of hellish suffering. Thought they performed many sinful acts without pious acts, and attained lordship over three worlds with power, enjoyment, and wealth. So Chakravarti was saying, those who came from Vaikuntha were always more powerful than any living entity in three worlds. Unconquerable. Verse number 17. Their bodies become so tall that they seem to kiss the sky with the crest of their golden crowns. They blocked the view of all the direction while walking, shook the earth at every step. Their arms are decorated with brilliant bracelets, and they stood as if covering the sun with their vests, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Srila Prabhupada writes, then the demonic way of civilization, people are interested in getting body constructed in such a way that when they walk on the street, the earth will tremble, and when they stand, it will appear that they cover the sun and the vision of the four directions. If a race appears strong in the body, their country is materially considered to be among the highly advanced nation of the world. So Prabhupada is again in the same mood. Demonic people wants material upliftment and physical power. Kashyap, the Prajapati, creator of the living entity, gave his two sons their names. The one who was born first was Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by the Diti name was Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu was conceived first. So he is actually elder. But Hiranyaksha was born first. So he is younger. So in the purport there is a statement about Pinda Siddhi Shastra. This Pinda Siddhi Shastra says, one who is conceived first is born last. And Chakravarti Pad has a wonderful purport here. This verse describes how Kashyap gave the twin names on the 10th day after birth. He named them such the child which came first from the body was known as Hiranya. The child which came first from his body means Kashyap's body, was known as Hiranyakashipu, and the child which first came from Diti's body was known as Hiranyaksha. Yatha and Tatha should be supplied. Pinda Siddhi Shastra, this is the verse which Srila Prabhupada has paraphrased. When a person impregnates semen twice in the womb, the embryos are born in reverse order to the impregnation. Deposit first, take birth last. Hiranyakashipu was the eldest from the perspective of Kashyap, since he had been deposited first. From the perspective of mother, Hiranyakashipu was eldest, since he was born first from her womb. Though either could be considered elder because of the stronger position of the father, Hiranyakashipu was considered elder. So who is the elder? And this is Pinda Siddhi Shastra. Now verse number 19. The elder child Hiranyakashipu was unafraid of the death from anyone within the three worlds because he received the benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to his benediction and was able to bring all three planet system under his control. So Srila Prabhupada gives the information about the austerity of the Hiranyakashipu, which will come in 7th canto, and then how he got the benediction from Brahma that he should not be killed. So Brahma also is not immortal, so he cannot be immortal, but he got the benediction. So it was the Lord's plan. So this is the Prabhupada in a purport give the story of the boons received by Hiranyakashipu. In other words, because he originally came from the abode of Vaikuntha, he was not to be killed by anyone within this material world. This is another way of seeing this benediction. The Lord desired to appear himself to kill him. One may be very, very proud of material advancement and knowledge, but he cannot be immune to the four principles of material action: birth, death, old age, and disease. It was Lord's plan to teach people that even Hiranyakashipu, who was so powerful and strongly built, could not live more than his destined duration of life. One may become as strong and puffed up as Hiranyakashipu and bring under the control all three worlds. But there is no possibility of continuing life eternally or keeping conquered booty forever. So many emperors have ascended to power and they are now lost in oblivion. That is the history of this world. Now next section, 20 to 26. Hiranyaksh conquered all directions. Hiranyakasho anujastasya priyaha priti krita anvahan gadapani divam yato yuyutsoho mrigyam ranam. His younger brother Hiranyaksha was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activities. Hiranyaksha took the club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with the fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakashipu. Srila Prabhupada writes, demonic spirit is to train all family members to exploit the resources of this universe for personal sense gratification, whereas the godly spirit is to engage everything in the service of the Lord. This is the third difference. I told you, make a chart. The difference in this chapter between the demonic and divine creation. The third difference. What is the first difference? Yes, what is the first difference?
Bona fide scriptures and a bona fide representative. And the other one is defying authority.
First is the divine follow authority and demonic defy authority. Second, divine look for spiritual upliftment, demonic look for material upliftment.
Physical.
Now this is the third one. The demonic want to exploit the resources of the world for their sense gratification, while the godly spirit engage everything in the service of the Lord. So this is the third one. So this is a sort of a whole chapter summary in this way. What is the difference between the nature of the two, divine and demonic? If possible, he wanted to rule the universe eternally. These are the demonstration of the spirit of demonic living entities. Verse number 21. Hiranyaksha's temper was difficult to control. He had ankles of gold tinkling about his feet, anklets. He was adorned with gigantic garland and rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders. He was proud because of his material strength, bodily strength. Oh, he has three strengths. What are the three strengths? Chakravarti Sapad says, he was proud because of his mental strength, bodily strength, and strength given by Devatas, Brahma, like a benediction. And he was uncontrollable. Mental strength, bodily strength, and strength from benediction. These are the words. Tam vikshya dohasa javan ranatta kanchana nupuram vaijyantyaha sarjajustam ansanyasta mahagadam. Oh, this is verse number 22, which the purport is of verse number 22. This is verse number 22. Manovirya, mental strength. Varotsikatam, he has a benediction. Ashranyam, uncontrollable. Akrotabhayam, he was fearless. Bhitaha, Nelyarye, Devas, Tarksha, Tras, Ivahaya. His mental and bodily strength as well as the bone conferred upon him had made him proud. So why Hiranyaksh was proud? Three things. His mental strength, his bodily strength, and his strength coming from benediction. He feared death at the hands of no one. Nobody can kill him. And there was no checking him. The guards therefore were seized in fear at his very sight, and they hide themselves even as the snakes hide themselves for fear of Garuda. Tarkasya Tras, Tarkas is Garud, son of Tarka. Vainatya Satu Hari, Tarkas, Tark. The Asuras are generally strongly built as described here, and therefore their mental condition is very sound, and their prowess is also extraordinary. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, having received the boon that they would not be killed by any other living entity within the universe, they were almost immortal, and thus they were completely fearless. Verse number 23. No one finding Indra and other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, means Hiranyaksha, seeing that they had all vanished before his might, roared loudly. Not seeing them, Hiranyaksha became intoxicated. Instead of, okay. Now, verse number 24. Tato nivritas Kridiyashan, sake of his sport, Kirida. After returning from heavenly kingdom, and the mighty demon who was like an elephant in wrath for the sake of sport dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly. So first he went to the heavenly planet. Nobody was able to fight with him on earth. The demigods from the heavenly planet, they disappeared. So now he is diving in the ocean as a sport. Not seeing any equal opponent in 10 directions, burning with heat of his great strength, he dove into the ocean with the hope that maybe someone there would be to his equal and he could fight. Verse number 25. तस्मिन् परिविष्टे वरुणस्य सैनिका यादो गणान् सनाधीय साधुवत्सा अहन्यमाना पितस्य वरचसा प्रधृष्यता धूर्तरं प्रदो ध्रुवो. On his entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who formed the host of the Varuna were stricken with fear and ran far away. Thus Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without dealing a blow. Prabhupada writes, Srila Prabhupada, materialistic demons sometimes appear to be very powerful and are seen to establish their supremacy throughout the world. Here also it appears that Hiranyaksha, by his demonic strength, actually establishes supremacy throughout the universe, and the demigods were afraid of his uncommon power. Not only were the demigod in space afraid of the demonic Hiranyaksha, but so also were the aquatic animals within the sea. Verse number 26. Savarshapugan udadhau mahabalas. So moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Purport. Varuna is supposed to be the predominating deity of waters, and his capital, which is known as Vibhavari, is within the watery kingdom. Over many years, he struck even the huge waves with his club made of iron. He moved about. He came to the city called Vibhavari and thought, there is a city here, I will enter it. Last section 27 to 31. Conversation between Varuna and Hiranyaksha. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower region of the universe, Patal Lok, where the demons generally reside. Here Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said with smile, "Give me battle, O Supreme Lord." Srila Prabhupada writes, the demonic person always challenges others and tries to occupy their property by force. Here the symptom of fully displayed by Hiranyaksha, who begged war from a person who had no desire to fight. Varuna is protector of Patal Lok, Asur Lok. Verse number 28. Hiranyaksha is telling to the Varuna, you are the guardian of an entire sphere and a ruler of wide fame. Having cursed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danava in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. So, you, the master of the planet, the famous ruler, have destroyed all the power among those think themselves great warriors, since having conquered all the demons, at the previous time you performed Rajasuya Yajna. So Chakravarti Pad writes, he speaks with the opposite meaning. So Hiranyaksha is speaking, but the meaning is just opposite. Because of the absence of demons before this time, it was possible for all persons to perform Rajasuya sacrifice. Now conquer me and perform Rajasuya sacrifice, or your sacrifice will be perfected only if you conquer me. So he's saying, you have done this earlier because I was not there. Now you can prove and perform sacrifice by defeating me. 29. Thus marked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bound, the worshipful Lord of the worlds waxed angry. It means he was angry, but he controlled his anger. But by the dint of his reason, he managed to curb the anger that had sprung up in him. And he replied, "O dear one, we have now desisted from warfare, having grown too old for combat." So, when marked explicitly by the proud enemy, powerful Varun, Lord of the water, controlled his rising anger and replied with intelligence, "Dear sir, I have become peaceful." Purport. As we see, warmongers, materialists always create fighting without reason. Varun thought, Chakravarti Pad writes, "My anger will not be beneficial. I have become peaceful, means I have grown old. If I were to meet you when was young, then I would defeat thousands like you." Or the phrase can mean, "I have taken sannyas and thus cannot fight. But even now I can defeat you." Verse number 30. "You are so skilled in war," Varun is saying, "and I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person, Lord Vishnu, who can give satisfaction in battle to you. Therefore, O chief of the Asuras, approach him, whom even heroes like you mention with praise." Srila Prabhupada writes, aggressive materialistic warriors are actually punished by Supreme Lord for their policy of unnecessary disturbing world peace. Therefore, Varuna advised Hiranyaksha that the right course to satisfy his fighting spirit would be to seek the fight with Vishnu. "How will I be relieved of my desire for fight?" Hiranyaksha told Varuna. This verse answers, "Therefore, O best of the demons, you should go to the Vishnu, whom warriors such as you praise as the person who can relieve the itch for the battle." Verse 31. Varun continued, "On reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once, and will lie down on the field of battle, surrounded by dogs, for eternal sleep. It is in order to terminate wicked fellows like you, and to show his grace to the virtuous, that he assumed his various incarnations like Varaha." Asuras do not know that their bodies consist of 5 elements of material nature, and that when they fall, they become object of pastime for dogs and vultures. Varuna advised Hiranyaksha to meet Vishnu in his boar incarnation so that his hankering for aggressive war would be satisfied and his powerful body would be vanquished. Thus, we have finished chapter 17. We'll finish chapter 18 also today. Tomorrow only we have one chapter to cover. Chakravarti Pad writes, "How long will it take to reach him?" means Vishnu. Hiranyaksha is asking. "Very quickly. In 5 days you can meet him. Strive of your pride. You will lie down to sleep. Now afflicted by the sickness of pride, you do not sleep, agitated with the desire to fight. Where the warriors lie down is the battlefield. That will be your suitable bed. You will have many people to care for your limbs. The dogs will surround you. If that is so, then please tell me the form of the Lord. Searching inside and outside the universe, and fighting him, I will fight with him. How can he kill me? You will see, for destroying wicked, he assumed the forms such as Vara or Narsinga. I know in general, but I do not know in what particular form he will kill you. Thus they end the commentary on 17th chapter. So chapter 18. So here Antariksh is between the earth and Swarga. So chapter 18, Lord, so 17, 18 and 19, Lord Vara and Hiranyaksha. So chapter 18, we have some 28 verses. The battle between Lord Varadev and demon Hiranyaksha. So here Chakravarti Pad writes, in 18th chapter describe conversation between demon and Varadev, Brahma's fear and battle using club. So this section where there is a dialogue between the Hiranyaksha when he is in trying to insult in his language Varadev, that language has another meaning which is a praise. So these verses have the double meanings. Hiranyaksha is criticizing, but actually the Acharya says these words are a praise, is a praise, is a glory of the Lord. So they will take little time because there's a double meaning of these verses. So verse number 1, Maitreya Vacha, Tadevam akaranyah jalesha bhashitam mahamanastada viganyah durmadaha harera viditva gatim anganardad rasatalam niravishet Tavaranvita very hastily, with great speed. Maitreya continued, the proud and falsely glorious Daitya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. O dear Vidura, he learned from Narad the whereabout of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and hurriedly betook himself to the depth of the ocean. Which ocean? Garbhodak ocean. Srila Prabhupada's purport, materialistic warmongers are not even afraid to fight with their mightiest enemy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demon was very encouraged to learn from Varuna that there was one fighter who could actually combat him, and he was very enthusiastic to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to give him a fight, even though it was predicted by Varuna that by fighting with Vishnu he would become prey for dogs, jackals and vultures. Since demonic persons are less intelligent, they dare to fight with Vishnu, who is known as Ajita, or one who has never been conquered. Chakravarti Pad writes, hearing of the worthy opponent and not considering one's word that he would lie down on the battlefield and that the Lord killed such demon as himself, since he thought that it was impossible he could be obstructed, proud and eager, Hiranyaksha searched for the Lord. Where can I find him? By chance he saw Nard in the city and questioned him. From Nard he learned where to go and enter the Garbhodak ocean. Hare Krishna. Now verse number 2 to 8. Hiranyaksha criticized Lord Vara. This is the section which will take long time. Vana gochar mirga. He saw there was an all-powerful personality of Godhead in his boar incarnation, bearing the earth upward on the end of his tusk and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. The demon left. Oh, an amphibian beast. Vanagochar. Srila Prabhupada writes, in the previous chapter we have discussed the incarnation of Supreme Personal Godhead as Varaha. While the Varaha with his tusk engaged in uplifting the submerged earth from the depth of the walls, this great demon Hiranyaksha met him and challenged him, calling him a beast. Demon cannot understand the incarnation of Lord. They think that his incarnation as a fish or a boar or tortoise or big beast only. They misunderstood the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even in his human form, and they denied him his descent. In the Chaitanya Sampradaya, there is sometimes a demonic misconception about the descent of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu's body is spiritual, but the demonic person considers the body of Supreme Personality of Godhead to be material just like ours. Avajananti Mam Mudha. So what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say, anybody can understand, I am not understanding. What about the Chaitanya Sampradaya and Nityananda Prabhu and misconception? Anybody any idea?
Yes, Prabhuji, I read in this one. So someone accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord, but not Nityananda Mahaprabhu.
Well, there is one Brahman. Actually, he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, I accept you as a Supreme, but Nityananda, oh, he is wearing silk cloth, he's sannyasi, he is chewing pan. I cannot really thank him.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so Mahaprabhu told the great person, you should never dishonor, it's Vaishnava Aparad. So he told the whole story of Brahma's running after Vak and laughing of the son of Marichi and becoming demons. So this is the story, but how this is related here, I don't know.
Hare Krishna, Babaji, this is the Chandra. The Mata is saying is correct that because the descendant of all the Nityananda Prabhu's, the descendants, so and that Nityananda Prabhu's, although the body is spiritual, but they understood the Nityananda body is not spiritual actually. And the descendant of the Nityananda Prabhu, so they actually, what is called, they don't consider Nityananda Prabhu as a Supreme Lord actually. So they consider their it's a material body, I think.
Chaitanya Sampradaya. There is sometimes a demonic misconception about the descent of Nityananda Prabhu. Well, this is something, it's not in my knowledge. There is somewhere something, but I don't know.
So, because here Prabhupada quote now Avajananti Mam Buddha.
But that I can read.
Nityananda Prabhu.
That I can understand, but what is the pastime where the Chaitanya Sampradaya who consider Nityananda's body as a material? Who think that Nityananda's body is material? That is my question. which Varaha? By the way, this is actually this pastime is not in my memory now.
I read Prabhuji, but I don't remember now the person's name. He don't consider Nityananda Mahaprabhu's body as a transcendental, like that he says.
Only I know this one who went to the Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri. He was a Brahman from Navadip. But this is something different. Mahaprabhu.
There is a one pastime, I think in the Adi Lila it is there somewhere, that Krishna, because of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj's brother, he was not respecting Nityananda Prabhu and he was not agreeing that Nityananda Prabhu was the Supreme Lord. So he did a great offense.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that Kaviraj left the home and
Left the house.
yeah, that is there. But whether this is referred to this, I don't believe.
No, that I don't know where that is.
So that's what's purpose Chaitanya Sampradaya. So that person was not
that is a
Chaitanya
different-
Sampradaya.
Yeah.
So there is some other reason. I don't know what is that. So Chakravarti Pad's purport in the previous discussion of Vara. Now, by now you should just which Vara, which incarnation of Vara is fighting with Hiranyaksh? Somebody can tell me?
Shweta Varaha Kalpa, that one. That.
There was no fighting in a Svetavara Kalpa.
Okay.
Svetavara Kalpa, Vara appeared from the nostrils of the Brahma and he lifted the earth. But the Nilvara, who appeared from the water, and he fought with Hiranyaksha, and this was the Chakshus Manvantar, not the Swayambhu Manvantar. So this is stories of Chakshus Manvantar, of the Nilvara. You know these
So
two?
when the Setvara was there, so that time there was no Hiranyaksha.
He was not there. No, he was not there. That time only from the Earth planet was brought for creation. The Hiranya,
Okay.
yeah, this is
So
sixth.
that means in the next Manvantar again the Earth planet was lifted from that place.
Yes, next sixth Manvantar, Chakshus Manvantar. This is the story of Chakshus Manvantar when there was a small pralaya. So this is earlier to chapter 12 or something we have discussed these two Vara which were mixed by the Maitreya Rishi together, and they are separately described by Jiva Goswami. You remember these two Vara differently? One appeared from nostrils of Brahma, other appeared from water. One appeared in Swayambhu Manvantar, Svet, and Nil appeared in Chakshus Manvantar. And with the fighting with Hiranyaksha was of the Nilvara.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Then what was the purpose of that Shweta Varaha?
That is also to bring the earth.
Earth was that time also. Earth was on
Yes,
the Garbhodaka
yes,
ocean.
yes.
That time who misplaced it means this time Hiranyaksha did.
No, he did not do this. Demons always do. This is going on. This is a different Manvantars, different Manvantar. Earth becomes sometimes it is in Garbhodaka ocean, sometimes it comes from the west of the what is called universal farm. So these are in different Manvantar. There are different pastimes. But this is already we have discussed in third canto.
Yes, I
Chapter
remember.
11,
Yes.
the two Varas, there's
Yes.
two different functions. Okay, Chakravarti Pad's purport. Anyway, by tomorrow, if you can find exactly Chaitanya Sampradaya and who is considered Nityananda, his body is not spiritual. If you find, then we can settle this issue, or otherwise, you just find out the reason. In the previous discussion of Vara, the pastime of the bell was not described in detail. Here it is described. Abhijitam means he who conquer all around. Or it can mean he who is presiding deity of Abhijit constellation. Varaha was lifting up the earth high. He diminished Hiranyaksha's splendor by his radiance. Vanagochar means a being living in the water as well as a beast living in the forest. The demon's abuse is also praise for the Lord. One gochar can mean Narayan, who sleeps on the water. This one gochar is sought, mirga, by sages. Or one gochar can mean one who should be seen in an isolated place, not the village. So there are three meanings of one gochar here. Narayan, and the another meaning for mirg is means one who is searched by sages, and third one who is found in isolated place, not in the village. Next verse 3. The demon addressed the Lord, O best of the demigods, dressed in the form of boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to us, the inhabitant of lower regions, and you cannot take it from me, from my presence, and not be hurt by me. He said to the Lord, O fool, release the earth. It has been given by Brahma to me for the inhabitant of Garbhodak ocean. You will not live in good health if you take the earth without my permission, O lowest of the Devata, who have taken the form of a boar. Another meaning of this verse, in these words, Chakravarti Pad says, O omniscient Lord, you have been given the earth by Brahma. Do not give up the earth. You will obtain our kingdom along with the earth by being merciful to me, O Supreme among the Devatas, who have appeared as a boar for your devotees. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Sridhar Swami, commenting on this verse, states that although the demon wanted to deride the personality of Godhead in the form of boar, actually he worshipped him in several words. For example, he addressed him as Vanagochar, which means one who is a resident of forest. But another meaning of Vanagochar is one who lies on the water. So Srila Prabhupada in word to word has given amphibian. Vishnu lies on the water. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be properly addressed in this way. The demon also addressed him as Mrgha, indicating unintentionally that Supreme Personality is sought after by great sages, saintly persons and transcendentalists. He also addressed him as a Agya. Sridhar Swami says that Gya means knowledge, and there is no knowledge which is unknown to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indirectly, therefore, demon said that Vishnu knows everything. The demon addressed him as Sura Adham. Sura means demigod, and Adham means the Lord of all there is. So, he is the Lord of all demigods. Therefore, he is the best of all demigods, or God. When the demon used the phrase in my presence, the implied meaning was, in spite of my presence, you are completely able to take away the earth. Na swasti yasyasi. Unless you kindly take this earth from our custody, there cannot be good fortune for us. So this purport has a different words used by Hiranyaksha as abuse to the Supreme Lord, but Sridhar Swami has taken the another meaning as a worship or praise of the Supreme Lord. Verse number 4. Tam naha saptanaihi abhavaya kim bhrito yo mayaya hanti asuram prokshajit tvam yoga maya balam alpa paurusham samsthapya mudha pramrajyehe surishukcha. You rascal, Hiranyaksha saying, "You have been nourished by our enemies," means demigods, "to kill us. And you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you." Srila Prabhupada's demon used the word abhavaya, which means for killing. Sridhar Swami comments that this killing means liberation, or in other words, killing the process of continued birth and death. The Lord kills the process of birth and death and keep himself invisible. The activities of Lord's internal potency are inconceivable, but by the slight exhibition of this potency, the Lord by his grace can deliver one from nescience. Sucha means miseries. The miseries of the material existence can be extinguished by Lord by his potential energy of internal yoga maya. In the Upanishad, Svetaswara Upanishad 6.8, it is said, "Parasya Shakti Vivadhai Shruyate." Same is quoted in Chaitanya Madhya Leela. The Lord is invisible to the eyes of the common man, but his energies act in various ways. When the demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and is working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. Hiranyaksha thought that way, and he challenged the Lord. "You have done tremendous harm to our community, taking part of the demigods. And you have killed our kinsmen in so many ways, always keeping yourself hidden. Now I see you face to face, and I am not going to let you go. I shall kill you and save my kinsmen from your mystic misdeeds." Not only the demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powerful, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. So, how can the people kill the God by words and philosophy? Yes, demons like Kansa, Ravana, Hiranyaksha thought themselves powerful enough to kill even the God. Demons cannot understand that God, by his multiverse potencies, can work so wonderfully that he can be present everywhere and still remain in his eternal abode, Golok Vrindavan. So, how you understand this? Killing the Lord with words and philosophy. Mayavad, impersonalism. Now Chakravarti Pad writes, have you, who kill by deception, by remaining invisible, been protected by the Devatas, my enemy, for destroying me? You do not kill them directly. After killing you, who do not have physical strength, only Yoga Maya, I shall wipe away the tears of lamentation of my friends. There is another meaning to these words. What is the another meaning? Have the Devatas taken shelter of you, who kill Asura by your mercy? Maya. Maya also means mercy. In order to award me liberation, by killing the demons, you give them a spiritual destination. You remain victorious, though you are invisible. Your invisibility is your greater mercy. The Devatas show themselves after a little sadhan, but you do not reveal yourself even after plenty of sadhan. After fixing my mind on you, who have inconceivable power, Yoga Maya Balam, and who make Mahavishnu insignificant, Alpa Paurusham, I will completely destroy Pramraje, the suffering of material existence, Sucha, of my friends, since you liberate even the friends of those who remember you. O Lord, you show satisfaction with the fools by giving them your bhakti. So these are the alternative meaning of these words. And here is a chart. This chart, if you can photograph or if you have, this chart has all the words used by a demon and their alternative meaning. Can you see the chart on the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this is just a quick reference. What are the words used by the Hiranyaksh and what is the alternative meaning of that word. So this is made easy for reference. Verse number 5. The demon continued, when you fall dead with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms, the demigod and sages who offer you oblation and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist, like trees without roots. Srila Prabhupada writes, demons are very much disturbed when devotees worship the Lord in the prescribed way, recommended in the scripture. In the Vedic scripture, the neophyte devotees are advised to engage in 9 kinds of devotional service, such as to hear the chant holy name of God, to remember Him always, to chant on the beats Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to worship the Lord in the form of His deity incarnation in the temple, and to engage in various activities of Krishna, to increase the number of godly persons, to perfect peace in the world. So Prabhupada writes to increase, it means to preach, to make many devotees. Why? To bring peace in the world. Demons do not like such activity. They are always envious of God and His devotees. Their propaganda, not to worship in the temple or church, but simply to make material advancement for satisfaction of the senses, is always current. The demon Hiranyaksha, upon seeing the Lord face to face, wanted to make a permanent solution by killing the personality of Godhead with his powerful mace. The example of an uprooted tree mentioned here by the demon is very significant. Devotees accept the God as the root of everything. Their example is that just as the stomach is the source of energy for all the limbs of the body, the God is the original source of all energy manifested in the material and spiritual world. Therefore, as supplying food to the stomach is the process to satisfy all the limbs of the body, the Krishna consciousness, developing love of Krishna, is the sublime method for satisfying the source of all happiness. Which is this verse? This is a verse from Bhagvatam. Tarora Mula Nischena. So Prabhupada is using the root of this material world of everybody's Supreme Lord. An example is giving his stomach. The demons want to uproot this source because if the root, God, were to be checked, the activities of the Lord and the devotees would automatically stop. Demon would be very much satisfied by such situation in society. Demons are always anxious to have a godless society for their sense gratification. According to Sridhar Swami, this verse means that when the demon would be deprived of his mess by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only the neophyte devotees but also the ancient sages devotees of Lord would be very much satisfied. This is the other meaning. When you are killed, the Devata will also die. Hiranyaksha is saying. The other meaning is as follows. When your skull is not cracked by a club released from my hand, the recent devotees who offer you homage at this time as well as the ancient devatas, devotees, and sages will spontaneously no longer be unsteady. Verse number 6. Satadhyamano aridorkato marai dhanshra agragam gam upalakshya bhitam todam vrisham mrigadambo madhya grahatasa karane yatheba. Now, after hearing this, what Lord Vara is doing is described. Although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain, but seeing that earth on the ends of his tusk was frightened, he rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion when assailed by an alligator. Crocodile. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand that Lord has feeling. Lord is satisfied if someone offer him a nice prayer. And similarly, if someone decries his existence or call him by ill names, God is dissatisfied. So God is a person. He has a feelings. The Supreme Person of God is decried by Mayavadi philosophers, who are almost demons, and they say that God has no head, no form, no existence, no leg, no hand, and other bodily limbs. In other words, they say that he is dead or lame. All these misconceptions of Supreme Lord are a source of dissatisfaction to him. He is never pleased with such atheistic description. In this case, although the Lord felt sorrow for the piercing word of demon, he delivered the earth for the satisfaction of demigod, who are ever his devotees. The conclusion is that God is as sentient as we are. He is satisfied by our prayers and dissatisfied by our harsh words against him. In order to give protection to his devotees, he is always ready to tolerate insulting words from atheists. So he came out of the water as the elephant come out when he is chased by a crocodile. Verse number 7. The demon who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water. Even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, "Are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversary? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creature." These are the words spoken by Hiranyaksha. When the Lord was coming out of the water, taking earth in his arm to deliver it, the demon dried him with insulting words. But the Lord did not care, because he was very conscious of his duty. For a dutiful man, there is nothing to fear. Similarly, those who are powerful have no fear of derisions or unkind words from an enemy. The Lord had nothing to fear from anyone, yet he was merciful to his enemy by neglecting him. Although apparently he fled from the challenge, it was just to protect the earth from calamity that he tolerated Hiranyaksha's drying words. Chasing the Lord, he said, "Is there criticism for those who without shame and are cowardly? There is not. but still it is not unsuitable to criticize opponent who flee. The other meaning is as follows. Can there be a criticism of those who are merciful and modest? Those who, being merciful, flee for the purpose of protecting the earth, who has taken shelter of your trust, should not be criticized. Or another meaning is as follows. Thinking that it was not proper to pursue the Lord who was lifting the earth for helping the popules, the demon criticized himself. Is there censure for me, a demon dedicated to my own pleasure, devoid of shame? No, there is not. How unfortunate am I? So, this is the last verse of this section. Boasting thus foolish Rukmi, other thought on this verse from 10:54-23. Boasting thus foolish Rukmi, ignorant of true existence of Supreme Lord's power, approached Lord Govinda in his lone chariot and challenged him, just stand and fight. So similarly, Hiranyaksha asked Lord Varadev to fight. Last verse. Sagam udasat salilasya gochare vinyasya tasyam adadhata swasatvam abhishtuto vishvo sraja prasunai apuryamano vibudya pashyato re areya. The Lord placed the earth within his side and the surface of the water and transferred to her his own energy in the form of ability to float on the water. While the enemy stood looking on, Brahma, the creator of the universe, extolled the Lord, and other demigods rained flower on him. Those who are demons cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead floated the earth on the water. But to the devotees of the Lord, this is not a very wonderful act. Not only earth, but many, many millions of planets are floating in the air. And this floating power is endowed upon them by the Lord. There's no other possible explanation. The materialistic cannot explain that the planets are floating by the law of gravitation. But the law of gravitation works under the control of a direction of the Supreme Lord. There is the version of Bhagavad Gita which confirms by the Lord's statement that behind the material law are nature's law, and behind the growth, maintenance and production and evolution of all the planetary system, behind everything is the Lord's direction. The Lord's activities could be appreciated only by demigods headed by Brahma, and therefore when they saw the uncommon prowess of the Lord in keeping the earth on the surface of the water, they showered flowers on him in appreciation of transcendental activity. So everything is possible. Gama Vishanta Bhutani Dharyami Am Otsa. This is the verse in Bhagavad Gita that I float the earth on the water. Since the earth is frightened, it is not good that I fight with the demon. Lord Vara thought. Thus the Lord placed the earth upon the water within his sight and endowed her with his own energy, so sattvam, so that the earth could not sink in the water. He was praised by Brahma. He was showered completely with flower by Prajapatis, Vibhudaya. While the enemy watched, this indicates that demon was not respected. Next section 9 to 12. Lord's befitting reply to Hiranyaksha. 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 verses. Varadev answer Hiranyaksha. The demon, who had a wealth of ornament, bangles, beautiful golden armor on his body, chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. The Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. The Lord could have chased the demon immediately while the demon was deriding the Lord with ill words, but the Lord tolerated him to please the demigod and to show that they should not be afraid of demon while discharging their duties. So this is a very important line. When we have some task and some responsibilities, there may be some people, they insult us. This episode teaches us the lesson that before finishing our duty, we should not distract ourselves to address such offenders. So God was doing this to make devotees fearless. When they are performing duties, they should be fearless. Demon cannot do anything. Therefore, his toleration was displayed mainly to drive away the fear of the demigods. We should know that Lord is always present to protect them. For devotees, Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So when we are performing our duty, we should not be fearful. People may oppose, but no problem. The demons' derisions of the Lord was just like the barking of a dog. Lord did not care about it, since he was doing his own work and delivering the earth from the midst of the water. Materialistic demons always possess large amount of gold in various shapes, and they think that the large amount of gold, physical strength, and popularity can save them from the wrath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is not possible. Lord was angry because of hearing the abusive words of the demon and left on hearing the other meaning of the words, which were praise. One would expect a fighting answer to the words of Hiranyaksha. Thus the reply of the Lord has the two meaning as well. Lord is speaking, his words have also two meanings. Verse number 10, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Satyam vayambho vanagochara mrga yushmad vidham mrgayate gram singham namrityupasahi pratimuktasya veera viktathanam tavaha grananti abhadra. The personality of God said, indeed we are creature of jungle, and we are searching after hunting dogs like you. One who is freed from the entanglement of death has no fear from the loose talk in which you are indulging, for you are bound up by the laws of death. Demons and the atheistic person can go on insulting Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they forget that they are subjected to laws of birth and death. They think that simply by decrying the action of Supreme Lord or defying his stringent law of nature, one can be freed from the cultures of birth and death. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the God, one can go back home, back to Godhead. Where is this in Bhagavad Gita?
Janma karma cha me divyam.
Yes. Chakravarti, I am searching for a dog like you, Varadev said. Heroes like me do not take notice of arrogant words of you who are bound by the ropes of death. The other meaning is as follows. Varadev is saying, we are seen by the devotees who have given up material enjoyment, one gochara. We are seen by the devotees who have given up material enjoyment. Mercifully, I search out those who are most prominently attached to material enjoyment, Gram Simham, which means actually dog, to offer them a place with me. But why do you give mercy to proud, sinful persons? Heroes like me are generous and do not feel the fault in your boasting words. What is your position? You become completely free from the ropes of death, since one who receives my mercy is not subject to death, a person from whom no auspiciousness arise, Abhadra. So another meaning of these is that after all, I know you are Vijay. You have come from my Vaikuntha. So I came here to take you back. So this is the another meaning. I have mercifully appeared simply to bring you back to the Vaikuntha. Certainly we have stolen the charge of inhabitant of Rasatal and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the world for some time because, having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go. So Lord is also mocking. Taking the inhabitant of the lower planets who were entrusted to you and fleeting shamelessly from your club, I remain here. I must remain here to fight, since having created enmity with you, where can I go? So meaning, the demon should have known that God cannot be driven out of any place, for he is all-pervading. Demons think of their possession as their property, but actually everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can take anything at any time he likes. Chakravarti Pad gives the another meaning. Speaking with a lamenting voice, the Lord joked with the demon. I have stolen things entrusted to you and fled away, but that is impossible. Have you fled far enough? Because of the suffering inflicted on you, I must remain here, since I have nowhere to go. Now what is the another meaning? I am the receiver of the offering, Nyas Hara, made with devotion even by the demons, Rasa Aukasam. I am not ashamed of doing this, Gata Hiriya, because I am affectionate to my devotees. This is because you are melted, Dravyata, my heart, with your words of praise, Gadaya. Gada, which become Gadaya, can come from the verb Gad, means to speak, in the manner of words such as Vidya. Thus I will remain with you even during battle, to show you my extraordinary powers. Atmane pada, from the Tishta Mahe, is used to indicate that he is showing something. O cause of existence, going to the Vaikuntha, you will remain there happy. Why would you want to endure suffering by fighting? I must remain. Engage in battle with you in order to drive bliss from fighting, because of the enmity in you caused by the curse of the Kumaras. Where else should I go? So can you relish the another meaning of the words of Varahadev? This take a little time really to see the Sanskrit word and relish it. Last words of this section. Tvam pada rathanam kila yuthapathipo ghatasya no swastasya asva anoha sanstapya chasman pramirja shruho swakanam yaswaham pratignam nati piparitya asabhya. You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt step to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talks and wipe out the cares of your kith and kin by slaying us. One may be proud, yet he does not deserve to seat a seat in an assembly if he failed to fulfill his promised words. As the commander of the leaders of the soldiers, you should act in order to quickly bring about my defeat without considering matter further. After killing me, wipe away the tears of your relatives. One who does not fulfill his promise is unfit to sit on the assembly. In the assembly. So, the demon may be a great soldier and commander of large number of infantry, but in the presence of Supreme Personal Godhead, he is powerless and destined to die. The Lord therefore challenged the demon not to go away, but to fulfill his promised word to kill him. What's the other meaning? You, the commander of the leaders of the foot soldiers, should immediately act to bring about my defeat without thinking twice. He who does not fulfill his promise is not fit to sit in the assembly. Other meaning is, filled with prem, you have accepted the mood of a demon as a promise to give me happiness by fighting with me. He who does not keep that promise is unfit to sit in the assembly. Therefore, as the commander of the troops, act now to make me happy by fighting, in order to give up your life. After having fixed me in your heart, wipe away your tears of bliss. So this is like Varahadev recognizing Hiranyaksh as his doorkeeper, and because of love of Lord, they have accepted this curse to give the bliss of fighting with the Supreme Lord. Now next section. And this section is 13 to 19. Fight between Lord Vara and Hiranyaksh. Maitreya Vacha So Adikshapto Bhagavata Pralabadhascha Rusha Brisham Ajaharo Albanam Krodham Kiryamano Ahirad Eva. Ahirad Eva. Ahi means Ahirad Eva, great cobra. Maitreya said, the demon being thus challenged by the personality of God had become angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Cobra is very fiery before ordinary person, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is plaything. Similarly, demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord he is insignificant. The demon Ravan was a fiery figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Ramachandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva, but not to avail. The demon, having been insulted in verse number 10, became angry, since he was the object of a joke. Pralabadha. He became like a large snake which was being teased by the words of verse number 11 and 12. The other meaning is as follows. Having fallen from his position as an associate of Lord, Adhikshiptaha, he became overcome with great anger. Though Shuddha Sattva by nature, because of the curse of the Kumara arising from the will of the Lord, he became full of ignorance. At the time of fighting, he accepted great anger, though it was not real anger. Verse number 14. Hissing indigently, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang up upon the Lord and dealt him a blow with his powerful mace. Verse number 15. The Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. The example is given herein that the perfect yogi can overcome death blow, although it is offered by the law of nature. It is useless for the demon to beat the transcendental body of the Lord with a powerful mace, for no one can surpass his prowess. Those who are advanced transcendent are freed from the law of nature, and even a death blow cannot act on them. Superficially, it may be seen that a yogi is attacked by a death blow, but by the grace of the Lord, he can overcome many such attacks by the service of the Lord. As the Lord exists by his own independent prowess, by the grace of the Lord, devotee also exists for his service. So, next verse 16. Personality of Godhead now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon, who bit his lips in rage, took up his mace again, and began to repeatedly brandish it about. Verse number 17. Then with his mace the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, O gentle Vidru, he protected himself by maneuver of his own mace. So Gada ko Gada se, so he fought with Gada, and with Gada he saved himself from the blow of Lord. Verse 18. In this way, the demon Hiranyaksha and Lord, personality of God, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. Verse 19. There was keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of the blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of the various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between the two fearful bulls for the sake of cow. Here cow is earth. Go means earth, go means cow. Here the earth planet is called Illa. This earth was formerly known as Ilavartvarsh, and when the Maharaj Parikshit ruled the earth, it was called Bharatvarsh. Actually, Bharatvarsh is the name of the entire planet, but gradually Bharatvarsh has come to mean India, as India has recently been divided into Pakistan and Hindustan. Similarly, the earth was formerly called Ilavartvarsh, but gradually, as the time passed, it was divided by national boundaries. Chakravarti Pad writes, when the two combatants, full of rivalry, increased in anger by the smell of the blood flowing from their wounds, it appeared spectacular, like the fighting of the two enraged bulls for the cow. In this way, the Lord and the Hiranyaksha fought over the earth, which is cow. According to the Amarkosh, the Illa means earth, a cow. It also means words or oblation. Next session. 20 to 28. Brahma requested Varaha to kill Hiranyaksha. I think we have 5 minutes. We may you want to have question answer, or we should cover certain verses? So Brahma is saying, O descendant of Kuru, Brahma, the most independent demigod of the universe, accompanied by his followers, came to see the terrible fight for the sake of the world between the demon and personality of Godhead, who appeared in the form of a boar. The fight between the Lord and the Supreme Person of Godhead, and the demon is compared to the fight between the bulls for the sake of cow. The earth planet is also called go or cow. As the bulls fight between themselves to ascertain who will have the union with the cow, there is always a constant fight between the demons and the Supreme Lord, or his representative for supremacy over the earth. Here the Lord is significantly described as Yagya Avyaya, One should not consider Lord to have a body of any ordinary boar. He has assumed any form and he possesses all such form eternally. It is from him that all other forms have emanated. His boar form is not to be considered the form of an ordinary hog. The body is actually full of yajna, or worshipful offerings. Yajna are offered to Vishnu. Yajna means body of the Vishnu. His body is not material, therefore he should not be taken to be an ordinary boar. Brahma is described in this verse as Swarat. Actually, full independence is exclusive to this Lord himself, but as part and parcel of the Lord, every living entity has a minute quantity of the independence. Each and every one of the living entities within this universe has his minute independence, but Brahma, being the chief of all living entities, has a greater potential of independence than any other. He is the representative of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and has been assigned to preside over the universal affairs. All other demigods work for him. Therefore, he is described as Swarat. Here, he is always accompanied by the great sages and transcendents, all of whom came to see the bullfight between the demon and the Lord. The Lord has assumed the form of a boar with his consort, who accepted him as her husband, Maya Grahita. Jiva Goswami explained the phrase as accepting his form as his mercy. Swarat means Brahma. Verse number 21. After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of the 1,000 of sages and transcendents, saw the demon, who had attained such unprecedented power and that no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayan, who was assuming the form of boar for the first time. The demon has assumed great power and intoxication. Brahma was the leader of 1,000 of sages. Verse 23 and 4, 22, 23. What Brahma is saying. Eshate deva devanam angri molam upeyusham vipranam saurabhyaishanam bhutanam api anagasam agasa krda bhaya krda dushkrda asmadradha varo asura anavesham aparate ratho lokan atati kantaka. The Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, this demon has proved to be the constant pinprick to the demigods, the Brahmanas, the cows, the innocent persons who are spotless and always dependent upon the worshipping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attended boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combat, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose. Srila Prabhupada writes, two classes of living entity, one is called Asura, another are demigod, another is called Asura. Demons are generally fond of worshipping demigod. Now this is the fourth difference. Are you there? Fourth difference in the same line. Demons are generally fond of worshipping demigods, and there are evidences that by such worship they get extensive power for their sense gratification. This latter proves to be the cause of trouble to the Brahmans, demigod, and other innocent living entities. Demons habitually find fault with the demigods, Brahman, and innocent, to whom they are a constant source of fear. The way of the demon is to take power from the demigod and then teach the demigod themselves. There is an instance of Lord Shiva and Virtasur. So Prabhupada has given this story of Shiva and Virtasur. Even if they are offered liberation, they refuse it. They are happy simply engaging in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So devotee on the other hand, that is their way. The devotees of the Supreme God do not, however, ask any favor for the sense gratification. Even they are offered liberation, they are refuse it. So there is difference between the mentality of devotee and demon. Verse number 44. Lord Brahma continued, my dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine demon, who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and is arrogant, self-sufficient, and most wicked. O Lord, do not play like a child with this demon, expert at magic, proud, uncontrollable, and wicked, just as Garud plays with his snake, raising his hood in the anger. Yatha Shivam Utitam. Asisham Utitam, serpent. Asi Visham. Srila Prabhupada writes, no one is unhappy when a serpent is killed. It is a practice among the village boys to catch a serpent by the tail and play with it for some time and then kill it. Similarly, Lord could have killed the demon at once, but he played with him in the same way as the child plays with a snake before killing it. Brahma requested, however, that since the demon was not more wicked and undesirable than a serpent, there was no need to play with him. It was his wish that he be killed at once without delay. Verse number 25. Brahma continued, my dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demonic hour arrives. And he present another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt. O infallible Lord, before his demonic hour arrives and his cruel power increases, you fixed in your own energy should kill him, this sinful person. Before his favorable time arrives, when his power increases, and you, though the Supreme Lord cannot kill him, you should kill him. Though Brahma is full of powers and knowledge, out of the prem, he become unsteady with apprehension. Similarly, though Vasudeva and Devaki are full of powers and knowledge, they say, I am trembling in fear from Kans for your safety. So why Brahma said like this? Because of extreme love for God. Verse 26. My Lord, the darkest evening which covers the world is fast approaching. Since you are the soul of all souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods. Verse number 27. The auspicious period known as Abhijit, which is most opportune for victory, commences at the midday and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose this formidable foe quickly. Abhijit means noon time. The auspicious moment has almost passed. While a portion of this time remains, quickly kill this person. Last verse. This demon, luckily for us, has come for his own accord to you, his death ordained by you. Therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the word in peace. The end of Bhaktivedanta purport. Hare Krishna. The demon has attained death as ordained by you who created this scene at the time of accepting curse made by Kumaras. So here we have finished these two chapters, 17 and 18. Now tomorrow we have this chapter, chapter 19. And this chapter 19 is the killing of demon Hiranyaksha. And this has some 36 verses. So we have to finish this chapter tomorrow, Krishna so desire. You have any question or comments? So in this chapter, summary is, 19th chapter describe how after demon could not kill him by using his illusory powers, the Lord withdrew his weapon and killed him with his hands, just by a blow on the cheek. So this is, we will start tomorrow. 1 to 26 fight between Hiranyaksh and Varadev continues, and then the last part. 10 more verses. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we have finished 2 chapters today.
Hare Krishna.
I think philosophically only the nature of the demon and devotee. This is only all the throughout these 2 chapters. Find out some comparison between the two. This one is important. The other is 2 meanings of the words, which may be the question. The 2 meanings of the words spoken by Hiranyaksh and also spoken by Lord Varadev. It has a double meaning. So that part, if you little bit couple think, and what are the, and then the other thing is when there are disturbance, then what is the reason? The 2 reasons: either demon is taking birth or demonic population is increasing, and how to counteract by Garbhadan Sanskar. So there are a couple things that you have to remember. Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment?
What is this? When Prabhupada writes that there are 2 kinds of people, Asura and Asur, and mostly the Asura are praying to demigods. So normally, in general, before Krishna consciousness, like as a household, we pray to all the demigods, even Krishna also like a normal god. So what are these kind of people called, Prabhuji?
See, the point, most important word was that they are worshipping demigods to get benediction for material power. If we worship demigods to get blessing to serve Krishna, then there is no problem. If you go to the demigod and want to get some power for material enjoyment, then this is something wrong. There is only difference between the demonic and divine approach to the demigods. Demigods are Vaishnava. We should approach them as a Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam yatha sambhu. And ask him to bless us to progress in Krishna consciousness, no problem. Gopis went to the Katyayani Devi to get Krishna as a husband. It's perfect. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you for your good pronouns. Thank you so much.